Disclaimer: Mercy Johnson Okoji TV. What happens when a man who has everything he thinks money can buy suddenly finds himself caught in a situation he never expected? Love and Strike is a hilarious and chaotic story filled with stubbornness, temptation, friendship, family pressure, unexpected encounters, and a surprising twist that turns everything upside down. From the very beginning, the movie introduces us to a man who clearly believes he is in control of his life. He is surrounded by women, money, alcohol, and people who are willing to do almost anything to satisfy his desires. Marriage is the last thing on his mind. In fact, whenever anyone brings up settling down, he becomes irritated and insists that people should leave him alone. But as the saying goes, sometimes the very thing you run away from is the thing that eventually finds you. One of the funniest aspects of the movie is the way the characters interact with one another. There is plenty of Nigerian humor, especially in the arguments and blunt exchanges between the characters. Nobody seems capable of keeping quiet, and everyone has something to say. The movie uses this constant banter to create entertaining moments while gradually revealing the personalities of the people involved. Our main character is clearly living a carefree lifestyle. He changes women almost as easily as someone changes clothes. To him, relationships are temporary and marriage is unnecessary. Even when those around him try to advise him, he dismisses them. He believes that because he has money and can take care of himself, nobody has the right to tell him how to live. But his lifestyle begins to attract consequences. His friend and associates are constantly involved in helping him arrange women, and what should have been a simple arrangement soon becomes complicated. Instead of finding exactly what he expects, circumstances begin to bring unexpected people into his life. The movie cleverly uses these misunderstandings to create comedy while also setting up the bigger story. Another interesting character is the woman who refuses to be intimidated by him. She is outspoken, independent, and not afraid to tell him the truth. Their conversations are filled with insults, teasing, and arguments, but underneath the comedy, you can see that she genuinely wants him to change. She questions his lifestyle and reminds him that he cannot continue jumping from one woman to another forever. She even uses biblical examples to challenge him, although he quickly finds a way to argue back. Their exchange about King Solomon is particularly funny because instead of accepting the advice, he turns the Bible itself into another reason why he should continue doing what he wants. And that is what makes Love and Strike entertaining. The characters are not perfect. They are flawed, dramatic, and sometimes completely unreasonable, but their reactions make the story lively. There is also a hilarious hospital sequence where the main character's attitude toward medical care becomes another source of comedy. Instead of calmly listening to the doctor, he complains about being asked to pay for tests. He wants to hear that everything is fine and does not want anyone disturbing him with bad news. But the doctor has something else to say. When the subject of his kidneys comes up, his reaction becomes even more dramatic. He refuses to accept that anything could be wrong with him and becomes defensive. This scene shows another side of his character, someone who wants to enjoy life without thinking seriously about the consequences of his actions. Meanwhile, the women around him have their own stories and struggles. Some are looking for genuine opportunities. Some are simply trying to survive, and others are caught up in situations they never planned for. The movie also introduces a woman who unexpectedly finds herself in the middle of the confusion. What makes her situation interesting is that she was not even supposed to be the person involved in the arrangement. A simple misunderstanding involving transportation changes everything. This is where the story becomes even more unpredictable. The man believes he does not have as much control as he thinks. The person he expected to meet is not the person who eventually appears. Instead, an innocent mix-up brings someone completely different into his world. And this unexpected encounter may be the beginning of something much bigger. The title Love and Strike becomes increasingly meaningful because the main character seems to be fighting against love itself. He has convinced himself that commitment is unnecessary, yet life keeps putting him in situations where he must confront emotions he would rather avoid. There is also a strong element of friendship throughout the movie. His friends may encourage some of his bad decisions, but they also become part of the situations that eventually expose him. Their conversations provide some of the funniest moments, especially when they try to explain how certain women ended up where they did.
One thing viewers will definitely notice is the movie's use of Nigerian pidgin and everyday expressions. The dialogue makes the characters feel familiar and relatable, particularly for viewers who understand the humor that comes from Nigerian street conversations. The insults are exaggerated, the arguments are dramatic, and even ordinary situations become hilarious. But beneath all the comedy is an important message. Money, beauty, and temporary pleasure cannot replace genuine companionship. A person may spend years avoiding commitment because they believe they are enjoying freedom, only to discover that life can change when they least expect it. The main character thinks he is choosing women whenever he wants, but eventually, circumstances begin choosing for him. And that is where the suspense comes in. Will he continue with his careless lifestyle, or will the unexpected woman who enters his life force him to reconsider everything he believes about love and marriage? Will the people around him succeed in making him settle down? And most importantly, is the person he eventually meets really just another woman passing through his life? Or could she become the person who changes everything? Love in Strike combines comedy with relationship drama and unexpected twists. It is the kind of movie that keeps viewers laughing while also making them curious about what will happen next. The characters may make questionable decisions, but that is precisely what keeps the story moving. There are moments where you will laugh at their arguments, moments where you may become frustrated with the main character, and moments where you will wonder how one person's stubbornness could create so much confusion. But perhaps that is the lesson. Sometimes when you spend too much time running away from something, life has a funny way of bringing it directly to your doorstep. So, what do you think about the main character's lifestyle? Do you think he genuinely needs marriage, or should he be allowed to continue living his life the way he wants? And what about the unexpected woman who enters the picture? Do you think their meeting is simply a hilarious coincidence? Or could this be the beginning of something deeper? Watch Love and Strike, and let's talk about it. Drop your thoughts in the comments because I really want to know what you think about these characters and the choices they make. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and turn on your notification bell so you don't miss more movie reviews and entertaining Nollywood discussions.